Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So just when I uploaded my last video this morning, we had a spike, we had that pump. So you wouldn't have had the update with the strong green candle in the video earlier today, but everything was basically in there in the video, so there was no need to do another update. It was all in there. It's basically all going at the moment according to plan here, based on this red wave count with a possible wave 1 to the upside, which however, as I said before, is not a very reliable wave pattern. Then here a wave 2 to the downside with a target that I gave of around 1160. We came to 1170, so I think pretty close. We bounced off, we left the channel to the upside, so we had a possible breakout signal and we could now be moving up in a third wave. At least that is what we can look at the moment. It's not entirely confirmed yet. We haven't broken above the 1284 level that I mentioned in the previous video yet, so it's still a bit uncertain. But as always, you know, these support areas are the likely reversal patterns, or the likely reversal areas, and if the price doesn't reverse in these areas, then it's probably going to fail the pattern. And that's also where, you know, stop losses can be set quite accurately. That's the advantage of Elliott Wave. So at the moment we could be looking at that we are really in this third wave. Ethereum continues to be in what I consider to be a bullish wave pattern, as long as we're staying above the $1,000 level. So that is unchanged. I had a few people who asked me, you know, what's a good entry point or whatever. Well, you know, that's entirely up to you. I communicated when I bought already on the, I think the 9th or the 10th here around 1150. So I didn't buy again in the support area. But this is sort of the area where I personally would accumulate. You know, I'm not telling you to do it, but I personally would, because these are, first of all, interesting DCA areas now for dollar cost averaging long term, but that should actually be clear. These are areas where, you know, where we are sort of in a longer or wider or more relevant support area, because if I zoom out, you can see the wider support area here already since in September. October was basically the same region. So this was also an area where I personally bought. I made you aware, then took profits along the way to the upside, moved my stop losses up on the way down. They were all closed in profits, and now I'm reinvesting that into ETH. That's how it should be, right? Be prepared for those uncertain moves to the downside. And now I do the same thing again, buying in these support areas and then selling bit by bit as we leave it, right? And maybe we come into it again and then buying again, and you know, and that's how you do it, right? And then you need to decide for yourself what sort of portion of that you want to put maybe onto your ledger, your Trezor, your hardware wallet. How much do you want to really hold long term, and how much do you want to get stopped out off if the price really drops below $1,000? That's really as it is. And I constantly communicated that Ethereum makes a better impression than Bitcoin. I think we saw that earlier today when, well, Bitcoin moved up as well, but Bitcoin just came down much lower here, and it nearly invalidated the pattern. Well, it didn't in the end, but who knows, we'll still keep an eye on it. And to be honest, this as well, it's just one green candle, basically built on I think CZ's tweet about a fund they want to set up, which is good. But you know, this is exactly what I've been talking about many times. If you are in these support areas and you get some kind of a catalyst, that's when the price can move. It might be different if you are in a completely overbought market and then you get like some positive news in and they don't really do much again. But when you're in an oversold market and you get some positive news in, they can actually do something. And this was probably the catalyst for the price to move up. So far this is working out, this scenario here. The thing is now that we need to see how does this carry on. What we would need now is a 3-wave pullback. So first of all, I would like to see a 5-wave move to the upside. Let me just go to the lower level time frame. I mean, we could possibly get away here with seeing this already as a 5-wave move up. So here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we want to see a 3-wave pullback. That could already, you could get away with calling that a 3-wave pullback as well already, but it's very weak. So we've only really reached the 23.6% fib level. Ideally, you would want to get it down a little bit lower to get a bit of a clearer setback, but it doesn't need to be necessarily. So Usually if we consider that maybe a micro wave 1, then here in a wave 2, you'd be looking at the area between the 38.2, maybe the 61.8% retrace between 12.10 and 12.34. But, and you know, ideally it pushes up higher and would fulfill the larger pattern. Important is now, you know, important is to hold at any point the 78.6 retrace to deliver on that bullish potential that we have here now. So it needs to hold above 11.95 really, right? If we now zoom out a bit further, coming down now into that region that I just mentioned between the 38.2 to the 78.6 or 61.8% retrace would be another possible entry point, because it's another micro 1-2 setup, and the stop loss again can be set nicely below the 78.6% retrace. So these are sort of the entry points, you know, 1-2 and maybe now another 1-2 setup. And in red, this is sort of the main pattern here, wave 1 up, wave 2 down. What we need to see now first of all is a break above 12.84. There would be an interesting or important signal, but we can also make some calls or assumptions about a target for the third wave now in red. That will obviously not happen in one straight line, but we can use the Fibonacci extension tool for that. And the target would be around 1600. That's the 1.618 of waves 1 and 3. Another possible target, sort of the first target, but that's a bit too weak, that would be 1437. So in terms of further upside, you've got resistance obviously, but resistance is not necessarily a target. But you will have resistance around 1284. We'll have resistance at around 1350, the previous high here on the 10th of November. And then a target would be 1437. If we get above that, it would be 1600 for a wave 3. Then there should be a wave 4 down and a wave 5 up, and you get a clearer 5-wave pattern up. That would be again a higher level wave 1, and then we come down in a wave 2 and would move on from there. So at the moment this is looking good, but of course it needs to hold at any moment now the 78.6 retrace, and if it doesn't hold that, at the very least the 1170 level. If it doesn't hold 1170, then we're looking at further downside all the way down to 1130. If we lose 1130, we're going to come down to 1075 probably, and if we lose that, it's probably the $1,000 level, and below that it opens the door to breaking the lows below the June low. So this is in no way confirmed to work out now, but it's a nice nice possible trade setup. It could be a fake out. We had that many times now in recent weeks, those pumps out of nowhere that just didn't hold support. So it remains, you know, it remains important to be careful. I wouldn't really necessarily add a lot of leverage or any leverage here. I would just sort of you know, trade step by step really, and so far this long trade would have worked out. So it just needs to hold now, and if not, then we're just gonna reset the trading range lower. Okay, and that's my update about Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.